Not gonna lie, I'm a little obsessed with napkin rings. So let's make these wooden ones. They are so cute and so beautiful, and there are so many different ways you could do it. So this is going to be my power gear for this tutorial. So that was a rotary tool from Maker X from Works. It is just like a Dremel, and I'm going to use different tips for it. And of course, I geared up with protective gear because I'm going to be making a lot of dust. So I have a respirator mask and I have goggles. I'm putting in those earbuds just so I could listen to a podcast while I work because this is going to take a while. Now, I am also wearing a protective glove on my hand just in case I sort of go into my hand with the rotary tool. So, my goal is going to be to get sort of a good organic shape on this, make a hole in the center so it operates as a functional napkin ring, and to do it in a way that is not perfectly even. So we're starting off with a wooden coaster, and our first step is going to be to make a hole in the center of that. Now, there are many different ways that you could go about making that starting hole in the center. I do think that the most effective way would actually be to use a drill bit with one of those circle bits. I'm going to link everything in the description of this video to just simply make a hole in the center. Now, it would be too powerful. So if you know more about power tools, definitely let me know. But if you're not a power tool person like me and you're working with something simple like a rotary tool, I started off by simply drilling a bunch of holes right next to each other in the center of the coaster. Now, the reason why I like this Maker X rotary tool is because it is very, very portable. It has a rechargeable battery and it is very easy for me to use anywhere. It has variable speeds. I'm finding it easy to control it as I need it. So I'm making a bunch of holes next to each other with a drill bit, and you kind of just want to go until you can shove out that center. You don't have to worry about it being very neat. In the end, once I made all those holes, I was able to sort of poke it out with a craft knife. And again, it does not matter if it's messy at this point. We're going to clean it up. We just need to make that starting hole. So there we have it. Success. We got it out. And that's all we really needed to do in this case. Now, the absolute easiest part of this project was simply taking the angle grinder attachment for the rotary and removing all that bark. It is very soft bark. I'm assuming that any coaster would be the same. It is a foamy texture almost, and you just kind of remove all that bark. This does, however, create the nastiest, worst dust. So you absolutely must be wearing protective gear for this. I do not do it without. You're going to end up with asthma and all kinds of respiratory issues. So please, please protect yourself. So after you've removed the worst of the bark, you're going to go back with, again, still with the angle grinder. Now, the thing with the angle grinder is that it doesn't do a smooth job, but it removes things quickly. So with the angle grinder, we're still removing all those dark bits that are a little bit more stuck on, and just getting rid of those so that we could start with shaping our napkin ring. Now, this is a very detailed project. This took a long time. However, I really recommend turning on a podcast and relaxing with this, or turning on music, because it can really be an enjoyable and even meditative process. Now we are going to switch to the sanding drum. And this is where the artistic nature of this project comes into play. And this was, for me, the most enjoyable part, whereas the previous one was the easiest. This one was time consuming, and it definitely was, something you have to get right a little bit more. But I really, really enjoyed this part of the process because that's where my vision came to life. So you're going to start with the inside of your napkin ring, and you're going to smooth the inside to make a circle. Now, before, you didn't necessarily make your circle the right size. You just have to start it enough to get the sanding drum onto the inside. Now you're going to want to test it as you go along and make sure it is the right size for your napkin. Once you've sized and smoothed out the inside, you're going to go to the edge where the inside ring sort of meets the top, and you're going to smooth that out so that you don't have a sharp curve. Next, you're going to go and sand the outside, and here you're going to shape it modestly. You're going to smooth things out, and you could also shape it. Again, if you have a pretty rough sanding drum on your center thing, the sandpaper is coarse grit, then you're going to find that you do take off a lot of wood quickly. So, set your setting low. I did not do a bunch of polishing layers and all that and lower grits and higher grits. I just worked with a relatively low grit that's a coarse sandpaper. And I shaped it, went a little bit higher speed when I wanted to shape, went a little bit lower speed when I just wanted to smooth it. And again, it's not a fire polish smooth. It is just not, what the angle grinder did, which was very, very rough. And when you're done with this, once again, you're going to go and smooth the corner. And you're working with this until you're happy. Now, some of my coasters were a bit small, so I ended up with them a bit smaller than I wanted them to be. But at the end of the day, I'm really happy with that. Now, story time. After I made most of these, my husband suggested that I use my laser engraver to get rid of the hole in the center. And I was like, yeah, but I kind of want this to be the type of thing that anybody could do. And not everybody has a laser engraver. He's like, well, why not just try it? So I did do the rest. I did a few by poking it out like I showed you just to make sure that the process works. But I did do the rest using a laser engraver to remove the inside. And again, you can totally do it the way I did it. It was fun. It was really relaxing and I enjoyed it. Now let's talk about finishing these off. So I did try a bunch of different ways, staining them, painting them, etc., etc. But in the end, I just settled on this butcher block oil. It really gave me the look that I wanted the most, and it was so easy to use. Just grab a rag or a paper towel and rub it in, and you can always redo it. And it's food safe and all that. And I do recommend it. It's affordable. So that's how I ended up finishing off the rest of these. And there you have it. These napkin rings are done and I love them. They are gorgeous and I'm definitely going to make more so that I can use them and I have a large crowd as well. The cool thing about a natural stained wooden napkin ring like this is that it is such a neutral. You can use it on a navy blue tie-dye napkin. You can use it for nautical looks. You can use it for modern and minimalist looks. And you can actually also use them with a bright pop of color because they are such a true neutral. I really love that each one is so unique, and I found that using those wood slice coasters, they are originally coasters, they that gives you the pre-cut circle with the rings already in place that really works well for napkin rings. So while you definitely can cut out pieces from plywood if you're a little more um, DIY, savvy than I am with like power tools and cutting neat circles, I do recommend that you just go with the coasters because even though it might not be the best quality wood, you get those rings perfectly in place. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment if you have any questions, make sure to check out the description for a full tutorial list of supplies and all of that stuff, and follow along for more like this.